When it comes to your style, is it important to you to be of the moment? Do you know what it means to embrace the zeitgeist? Do you know what the zeitgeist is? And would you like to ensure that your personal style is rooted in modernity? I know I would. Welcome everyone. My name is Mosha Lundström Halbert. I am a fashion journalist and style expert, and this is my show and podcast, Have Some Style. Because no matter how much or little you think you have, you too can have some style. This show discusses all matters of personal style and helps you find yours. So forget trends, lose the logos, burn the chinos, and just break the damn rules. I want to give you and myself permission to experiment and evolve. It's time to wear the clothes and not the other way around. I want to inspire you to explore what makes you feel like your truest, best self, because authenticity is style. So if you're looking for a channel that tells you that you need to buy something new to be relevant, that what you currently own is trash, that you must hop on every trend, well, this is probably not the show for you. You see, I believe that we are drawn to people that have an innate ability to communicate who they are through their style. After all, we're inundated with media and messaging these days that can cause kind of a homogenization in the way that many of us dress. So together, let's take a step back and get very intentional about what we wear, what we put on our physical beings, and how we show up in the world. So if that interests you, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. I'd be so grateful. And please, by all means, let me know in the comment section if what I'm saying resonates with you, if you have anything to add or additional questions, because they could totally help inspire a new episode of Have Some Style. I'm always looking for inspiration from my viewers, from my listeners that really help dictate the direction of this show, because it really is meant to be a conversation between us all. So ready to dive into today's topic? How to be of the moment. What does that even mean? How to be of the moment. What is the moment? I'm going to tell you. Here are 3 things you must consider when it comes to dressing with a real sense of modernity. So stay with us to the end of this video, where I'll be recapping these principles and giving us all some style homework, myself included. Because we are all in this together. I don't want to come off like some holier than thou authority on all things fashion and style. No, I'm really more someone that likes to analyze and be a thought leader in the space. And really, I just want you to think of me more as your like personal style coach there on the sidelines, rooting you on to play your best in the game of life. That's really what I view as my role. And I really feel like this is going to be my life's work, because you know what? Like, I could literally talk about style and fashion all day long. And I do. That's already part of my work. So I thought, why not share that dialogue with everyone here? Okay, so let's dive straight into today's topic. So number 1, how to be of the moment. Well, here's the thing. If you've been listening to Have Some Style since the onset, or you're familiar at all with me and my work, you know that I'm a big proponent of disregarding trends in a way and not feeling like you need to hop on every trend bandwagon in order to be relevant. That is one of my key messages. But at the same time, I think there's a way that you can interpret and absorb trends and make them your own. Really pick and choose in the same way that, like, let's say when you go to the grocery store, for instance, you have your staple items that you get again and again to stock your fridge and your pantry. But there's always that new thing that catches your eye that you try. It could be a new condiment. It could be like a seasonal fruit or vegetable. It could be some snack. It could be something that, you know, the butcher, the baker is recommending is super fresh. And so you instinctually are drawn to it. You want to try it. You do. You make that purchase, you bring it home, and you incorporate it into your menu. And you know what? You find if it works for you or not. There's some things you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is such a game changer. Taco Tuesdays just got so much better. And there might be other things where you're like, that's not for me. Actually, I tried it. It was way too spicy. It gave me a tummy ache. So obviously I'm speaking in a lot of mixed metaphors here, but I think the same philosophy that you apply every time you go grocery shopping, where you're on a mission but still open-minded, you can also incorporate when it comes to your wardrobe. And by that I mean trends, they don't have to be interpreted literally or slavishly. And it's not always like there might be a key piece of the season or a big trend that you're seeing everywhere. And maybe that's not the exact piece you're going to get. Like, let me think of an example here. Like, what about if there's like this stringy cutout dress that you're seeing all over Instagram? I know I've been seeing a lot of those lately. So maybe you're not going to get that exact dress. Maybe for a variety of reasons, it is out of your budget, doesn't suit your style. It's not something you would feel comfortable in on your body either. Fine. But you might look at that and be like, there's something about that fine strapping that feels fresh, that feels new, that I kind of want to incorporate. And then you might just sort of file it away and be looking for something that falls into your style bracket that incorporates that design detail and that feature. So for instance, for me, I'm not going to wear a dress quite like that with all that strapping detail, but I do love the clean minimalism, very 90s of like a spaghetti strap slip dress or camisole. So that was kind of a reminder for me that that is something that I want to make sure that I have in my wardrobe. It feels fresh, but it also feels like it's me. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to say here is that you might have closet staples, we all do, but they will need subtle tweaks as time goes on. You have those things that you love, that you turn to again and again, that really just work for your lifestyle, maybe your occupation, your climate, what have you. But you want to look for subtle twists and flourishes that update them so that your style doesn't become too formulaic and then it does feel like it's evolving. So maybe it is like the cut of a sleeve. Maybe it is the length or hem of a trouser. Maybe it is the cuff of a shirt and the width of it, the rise of a pant. And we all know, I mean, you can especially see this in menswear, that even with something changing a centimeter, it can actually really impact the entire silhouette. You don't always need to each season kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. You really can just be looking for subtle tweaks and improvements on signature styles that you already know and love. The other thing that I like about this ethos, is it really ties into something that I believe quite fundamentally in, which is this spirit of continuous improvement, right? It's like you never want to reach the end of anything in life, right? Everything should be a work in progress, yourself included. So it's like, yes, you might find the perfect white shirt, and it's the perfect white shirt for you for a period of time, but you also want to recognize that as time moves on, the sleeve shape of that or the cuff might not feel as fresh as it did 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. You might want something a little bit evolved. And that's okay. And because you should be constantly evolving. You should know who you are, know what you like, but be open to subtle improvements, subtle updates. I feel like the spirit of continuous improvement, a kind of visual metaphor that I might give you for this is it's almost like you do want to make sure that you are focused and cutting out a lot of the noise, but that you're not blind to what is actually going on. So maybe you have blinders on so you can look forward, you can see in front of you, you can see into the future, you can see what's happening, but you're not overly distracted by everything. But by that kind of intention of forward-lookingness, I think it allows you to take in cultural references and movements and incorporate them into your style in a way that feels fresh and modern. After all, it doesn't matter where you live or what you do. You don't want to get kind of stuck in a time warp. We've all seen this in people that we know. I'm sure examples for you come to mind. I obviously won't name any names from my life, but there are certain people that get very comfortable in one kind of version of themselves, they stop really evolving it. And when we think of the people that like have had really strong personas or uniforms throughout time and the ages, they too, when it's done effectively, were continually evolving them. I mean, for some reason, Karl Lagerfeld just popped into my head, right? Someone who was an icon for so long in the fashion industry and had this indelible persona that you could literally dress up as Karl Lagerfeld for Halloween. Same goes for Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of Vogue, right? They have these distinct signature styles. But while Karl Lagerfeld was still alive and Anna Wintour today still embrace these subtle tweaks in their accessories, in just the slightest tweaks to their silhouettes and their tailoring so that their looks continually felt incredibly recognizable and iconic, but of the moment that they were currently in. That's the key. Another thing that I think it's really important to consider is you don't want to get stuck in a time warp. Let's all make that commitment to each other. Live in the here and the now. To refuse to get stuck in some kind of time warp where we are kind of resisting the present and the future, because that's really futile anyway. You want to be the type of person in all areas of life that is really moving and evolving with the times, growing and expanding, and still curious about what's going on around you, and have that be reflected in your style. One other key point that I wanted to make as well is a really good way to update your look, update your style, make it feel more of the moment is you can take pieces that are already in your wardrobe. You might have things that you really love, but you're not wearing them. They still fit you, but you don't know why. You're just not turning to them. There's something about them that doesn't feel so right, so fresh anymore. If it applies to this certain piece, by all means, take it to your tailor and just do a bit of a hack job on it. You know, like I've got some blazers where the length of them is kind of longer than the style of blazer that I like to wear anymore. I can either belt it and wear it kind of as a dress, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some to my tailor and have them chop it off and make them cropped, because I've been wearing higher waisted and fuller pants lately. And so that proportion of a more cropped blazer feels right, feels fresh, but still feels like me. That's just one example. It could be that you have a great pant. It's a beautiful material. It's excellent quality, but there's something about the fit, the taper. It's just a little off. You could take it to your tailor and say, hey, could you just put a little slit in there for me and then just hem it? Or could you just have it go in a little bit more at the knee? Or could you take that flare away a bit? You'd be amazed what a good tailor can do. And also that really is a much more sustainable approach. Everything in your wardrobe, you should be willing to invest the $10, $20, $30, $40 that it might cost to tweak it a little bit or to refurbish it instead of just throwing it out. Okay, on to point 2. Embrace the zeitgeist. You've heard that word before, right? But have you ever really thought about what zeitgeist means? I'm going to read you the definition right now. Zeitgeist. It's a German word originally, right? It's the defining spirit or mood of a particular period of history as shown by the ideas and beliefs of the time. It really means to be of the moment. It's a great word that I often use as a kind of barometer of lots of elements of my life. Because I really believe that this is a mentality, being of the zeitgeist, that you want to permeate all areas, permeate how you cook and serve food, permeate how you entertain, permeate how you decorate, permeate your haircut, your beauty look. So many different elements of your life. You want them to be filtered through this zeitgeist ideal. It's essential that we don't date ourselves by getting stuck in the past, by saying things like, oh, back in my day, or saying, oh, I just wish we could go back to so-and-so year, or oh, I can't with TikTok, or I can't with whatever new platform is out there. Oh my God, no, I don't watch TV, or whatever it is. That energy, that attitude makes you immediately look and feel and sound rather stuck, rather old, rather dated. That is not the type of person that you or I want to be. We want to maintain our curiosity. We want to keep our finger on the pulse. We are not, like I said, slaves to every trend. We are not constant consumers of salacious pop culture. No, but we are watchful, mindful observers of what's really going on. So that could include new technology. That also could include trends. That also could include pop culture and references of who is really defining culture right now. I guess my overall message here is you want to be open to what's new. Who are the new artists that you should know about? Who are the new designers? Who are the new singers? Who are the new actors and entertainers, performers, scientists, thought leaders, thinkers, philosophers, podcasters, YouTubers? Like, who are the people that are at the forefront of the conversation? Are you taking that in at all? Because that will really help your style be rooted in the here and the now. And I think when you have this approach, it allows you to very easily filter through fashion trends and zero in on the ones that really resonate with you, that you really do want to participate in, go after, or incorporate into your wardrobe in a very authentic way, because you're paying attention to your gut, to your instincts, something that really strikes a chord with you, and ultimately your personal style. And when your personal style is strong enough, and when you come from a place of true self-assurance and authenticity, you can take trends and wear them, and they become completely your own. Like, for instance, I got a pair of like super trendy, chunky kind of dad sneakers from Margiela a couple seasons ago. I got them for a photo shoot for Therma Kota in Iceland, and I was gonna kind of wear them myself. There was something about them, they were cool, but just like a little fashion for me, like a little they weren't quite my style, trying a bit too hard to be trendy. But let me tell you, we got those sneakers on my mom. I'll show you a photo. She's wearing them here, even in like our campaign imagery shot in a volcano. And they were just the shoe that she needed to completely give her style that modern elevation and just like step forward. They looked so good on her because they're very large and in charge and audacious like she is, and eye-catching and bold. And they just really suited her, even though they were this like true fashion, trendy shoe on the right person. They looked fantastic. And everything else that she was wearing was so her and so part of her like standard uniform, that just the subtle update of a new pair of sunglasses, a really fashion forward shoe, a fun bag, a new, lipstick color, that can be all it takes sometimes to just, I can't even snap, but I just tried to snap there. I snap with my pointer fingers. I don't know if anyone else does that. It's a weird habit. That can be all it takes to snap your style into the present day and just make you look so of the moment. It can only take one thing sometimes. That's my point. You want to know what's going on. My own mother will send me, she has the Vogue Runway app, which is great. And so she'll get notifications of new collections, and she'll send me, she'll be like, check out the new Schiaparelli Couture. How cool is this chest plate detail? Or she'll be like, what do you think of this puffer coat that Montclair is doing? Like, she's aware of what's going on. She's looking at what's being created. She's interested. She's not living and dying by it. She's 70 years old, but she still knows and cares and is fascinated by what the leading creators are coming up with these days. You want to know what's going on. You don't want to live under a rock. You don't want to be a late adopter to everything in life, especially fashion trends. If you are going to incorporate newness into your wardrobe, I would encourage you to try to do so early on. The more you wait, the longer you wait to the point where you're seeing something everywhere and it's kind of gone mass, that's not the best time to be hopping into that trend pool. That's usually, I've spoken about this before, an indicator to just sit that one out. Another way that I think you can really be clicked in and participate in the zeitgeist and not also just be contributing to your screen time and all this time we spend on our phones per se, is participating in cultural activities in your community. It might sound Captain Obvious, but like, go to things if you can. Go to museum exhibits that open up in your community. Go to art fairs. We just had Art Basel here in Miami, and that's always a really important one for me to participate in. Go to, like, check out new movies, check out new shows, listen to new albums, listen to podcasts from people who have created new works of art or literature. Be aware of where the current culture is going and who is really helping to sculpt that conversation. So lastly, for my third point is, you want to ensure your style is rooted in a true spirit of modernity. Even the most classic of pieces can feel a bit dated as time goes on, especially if the fit or construction is a little bit off. There will be certain things that you want to maybe put on the back burner for a bit. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of them entirely, but you know that they're just not really super fresh anymore. So just maybe hold on to them, put them in storage, move them to the back of your closet. The thing I love about fashion is that it changes. It's very ephemeral. Things evolve, and you need your look to do so as well, even if you do rely on classics. The little black dress that looked great 10 years ago might not turn heads anymore. It might feel a little dated and dusty. Even those classic tropes, the trench coat, the little black dress, the black trouser, the white shirt, the pointed pump. That's a great example, actually, the pointed pump. The shape, like, I could literally tell you probably the exact year of a pointed pump if you were to show me a selection of 10 of them, because it's so specific, from the shape of the heel to the material, to the length of the last of the shoe, to the angle of the point, to the heel height, to the insole and construction. All of these things are indications of time and place. Shoes, like I said earlier, are a great way to really root your look in the here and the now. But all those classic staple pieces in your wardrobe, denim is another big one, can oftentimes be very obvious if a pair of jeans is from kind of another era, right? Jeans really do reflect our time, in the same way that I could probably show you 10 different jean silhouettes of style and wash, and you would associate them with different eras, and you would associate those eras with also different pop culture references, right? Like if I was to show you a low rise kind of distressed dirty denim wash, wouldn't you think of like a J-Lo and a Britney Spears era, like early 2000s moment? And then alternatively, if I was to show you like a extreme bell bottom jean, wouldn't you think of the 70s? And then also, if I was to show you like a really baggy kind of skater jean, wouldn't you think of the 90s? My point is, denim is one of the biggest cultural indicators of our time in our closet. So jeans are a great way that you can be continually dressing in a way that feels youthful, modern, and of the moment. Look at the wash. Look at the cut, look at the rise, look at the hem, look at the distressing, look at the thread, look at the pocket treatment. All of these subtle little, the patch on the back of jeans can really make it look completely different. So I think having a standard pair of jeans for each era in our life is very important. It's one of the most important wardrobe staples for so many of us, and it's got to be right, especially if you're a guy. My goodness, women, I think, can pull off way more different styles of jeans than men can. And I think it's very important for men to make sure that they are also really mindful of that they are evolving their pants silhouette with the times. Okay, boys? Another point I wanted to add is look to inject your style with newness via the way you wear your hair, the way you do your makeup, your accessories, and how you accessorize. That's another thing that really marks time and place is accessories, the shape of them, the size of them, the scale of them, the color of them, the amount of them on your person at any given time, what have you. But it is a really great way to make sure that you are participating in the current moment. Like for instance, I've had this same haircut my entire life. I've had bangs, but my bangs are constantly changing. That's why I always have a bang comb on me. Just the subtlest little half moon shape makes it look completely different. Sometimes I go for more of like an even extreme baby bang, makes me look completely different. I had a moment where my eyebrows were completely covered. That made me look very different. The length, is it more Michelle Pfeiffer or like my mom in the 80s, or is it longer and a bit more like Joni Mitchell in the 70s? These are all considerations that I constantly am making and evolving and tweaking, even though my hair, like people will say, oh my gosh, you've had the same hair forever. And I'm like, yes, I have, but I haven't. I'm continually looking for ways that I can tweak it, evolve it, and make it feel fresh and exciting for myself. And like, I never stop fixing it, right? I'm never fully satisfied. I'm always like, this next bang trim is going to be the one. And I think that's part of the reason why I actually like having bangs is because I have to get them cut every 2 to maximum 3, more like 2 weeks. It just is like an opportunity to reconsider and reapproach my look. So when it comes to hair and makeup, make sure that you are working with a stylist who has their finger on the pulse when it comes to hair, so that you're not getting stuck and that they will tell you if it's time to really say sayonara to a certain style or color that you've been holding on that no longer serves you, and that you're constantly working together to evolve it each time you see each other. And then also with makeup, do you have someone that can really help you figure out some great makeup looks for you for different moments in your life? I have a few makeup artists that I'll work with in Miami and in LA who I know every time they do my makeup, because I'm not amazing at doing my own makeup from a technical standpoint, I will learn something. And I like to still experiment with makeup. And I also like from time to time, don't we all, to watch YouTube makeup tutorials, because it's really interesting to me to see the new ways that people are approaching makeup. Of course, some of the extreme contouring and kind of moonbeam highlighting isn't exactly for me, but I'm learning about new techniques. I'm interested in new products, and I'm incorporating that into the way that I do my makeup so that I still look like myself, but my makeup feels natural, but also current. That's the goal that I'm going for. And I think, especially with YouTube these days, there's so many ways that you can get references and get unstuck. Learn from others who are showing you how you can apply blush in a way, or apply your lip liner. That was something I recently learned that can really change the shape of your mouth or pop your cheek. And you don't always need to be doing things the exact same way. And you know what I think is so interesting? If you look at some of the fashion icons of the 70s that are still relevant and rocking it today, they've adopted this spirit of being iconic, but not being stuck in the height of their iconography. So some examples that I would think of when we're talking about this would be like Stevie Nicks. She's still wearing her killer platforms, but they're current season platforms. Or Cher. She still rocks the bodycon like no one else, but she's working with emerging talents and designers of today. Or Jane Fonda, who looks more modern than a lot of people half her age because of how she dresses with such a crisp, clear, authoritative, well-tailored style. I think Grace Jones is another example. She's still so theatrical, but it continually evolves. She still has the same sense of color and really wild, dramatic proportions, but she doesn't look like she's in costume as the Grace Jones that she was in the 70s. Buffy St. Marie is another great example. She still looks so rock and roll and cool, but I think she just looks even better with age. A lot of these women do. Jerry Hall, Marianne Faithfull, like Patti LaBelle. These are just examples off the top of my head of women that I think just like become more themselves, more beautiful with age, to the point where I'm just like, it's almost like they've always existed. They were never of the past or the present. They're just of the here and the now. Isn't that such a beautiful quality? I know I find that super inspiring, and that's something that I aspire to, even if I can't sing or dance like some of those examples. Oh, you know who else is another great example of this is Michelle Obama. Every time you see a picture of Michelle Obama, she looks exactly like Michelle Obama in whatever year she's in. The woman, along with her stylist, Meredith Coop, who I think is so talented, has the ability to capture whatever is going on, to work with the newest designer. She supports a lot of emerging talent, a lot of Black and BIPOC designers too. Everything is immaculately tailored to her silhouette, but it feels fresh and modern. You know, be it she's wearing it with an over-the-knee, skin-tight Balenciaga boot, or she's got on the most beautifully tailored coat, or recently she wore this look that was all black and textural and I thought was so seductive. She had a Wolford, almost leather look bodysuit underneath that I thought was a very unexpected but still subtle choice that completely updated her look from just a black on black on black kind of pantsuit to something that was edgy, subversive, and unexpected and fresh. All hail Michelle Obama. It doesn't matter your politics, just the principles that that woman exhibits whenever she puts herself forth on the public stage, of just always looking modern and like $1,000,000 it's total goals, right? So to summarize what we talked about, here are the 3 key points when it comes to dressing and really being of the moment. Number 1, trends do not have to be interpreted literally or slavishly. They can be filtered through your own lens and made your own. You can really pick and choose. And also, you want to take those closet staples and make sure that you are continually tweaking them. Number 2, embrace the zeitgeist and really let that inform all areas of your life. And lastly, ensure your style and your outlook and your approach is rooted in modernity. Stay curious, stay open, and keep evolving and growing your style. So that's all for today's episode of Have Some Style. Thank you so much for joining me. If there's anything else you'd like to hear more of, please let me know in the comments. Also, I'd be so grateful if you would share this within your community, ring the bell so you can be notified of future episodes, and like and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and let me know what you would like to hear more of. So let's keep this conversation going in the comments, because Lord knows I could talk about fashion all day long. So if you'd like to follow along with me also on social, learn more about my brand Therma Kota, and just be updated on all the different things in the fashion industry that I'm working on, I've left all my links below. If you didn't know, I have a brand called Therma Kota. It's a family business and we make sustainable coats and home pieces. I have one of our lovely pillows right here, so you can learn more about that below as well. Okay, that's all for me today. Thank you so much, everyone. And don't forget to have some style.